Howdy, soldiers.
What's good, y'all?
We're here. We're live. We're in.
It is time.
Good evening.
We're here with fluid movement,
Yeah,
Michael.
We got real Michael today.
Not cardboard minty.
Michael's in more than one position today. Don't worry, I'm a one position kind of person myself.
Yep. Doesn't take much time.
No. Happy pre-Thanksgiving, y'all.
Yeah. Hope everybody has a good socially distanced Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I forgot Thanksgiving was yesterday.
Dude, I forgot. Like, I've been at work all day doing Thanksgiving shit, and I still forgot it's fucking tomorrow.
Yeah.
I only know now because I have a banana pudding from. Is it Mama Brown made it?
You damn right. And it's gonna be the best banana pudding you've ever had in your life.
It is. Tell them what happened last time.
So last time, my mom special made a thing of banana pudding for Jacan, and this fucking guy, this fucking ex-boyfriend of my sister's fucking guy.
Oh yeah, it was like all drunk, right?
Yeah, he got all drunk and ate the whole thing.
God damn it.
Left him with nothing, bro. It's on site next
This year, there's no excuse though. Ian's gonna eat it again, and he can't.
Wait, so it's gonna be the exact same
It looks like he took a picture last time. It looks exactly the same.
You should have the same thing. It's great every time.
It's like in the big foil pan, banana pudding, got the vanilla crackers on the top. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go. Yeah. Other than that.
Yeah.
Are we ready to go?
Before we start, though, just a special rip to Maradona, Diego Maradona.
Oh, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
One of the few professional athletes that actually, and mostly because of his own personal experience with poverty,
had some class solidarity.
Yeah.
Or at least open class solidarity.
Yeah, he was friends with fucking Castro, with Chavez.
Dude, that's a picture of him with fucking Castro, and he has like the tattoo.
Yeah.
He's the one where he's on the boat fucking with the big ass cigar. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a goat.
Yeah.
He has fucking, in like all these slums around the world, he has paintings of them too. So it just shows, the international class solidarity appeal.
Yeah, he's the working people's man.
Oh yeah. So
Rest in peace.
So that's why we've never heard of him over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only hear about the soccer players that conform to capital, of course.
No doubt.
And if you do hear about him, no doubt he'll be demonized.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, of course, here, it was famous. He had a coke problem in the 80s, and that was blown way out of proportion.
You remember the fucking video? Him he brings up the bag after he wins.
Yeah, of course he's in the 80s, and he's the most paid player in soccer.
Oh yeah,
doing coke.
Oh
bro.
yeah, you kidding me?
In the name of Thanksgiving, do we want to open it up now?
Yes, let's please. We have a beautiful video from Commander in Grief. Commander and McCheese. Donald Trump. Fucking.
Let's play his party of the turkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and Mrs. Trump. Well, thank you very much, please. And I just want to congratulate everybody. The Dow Jones Industrial Average just broke for the first time in history 30,000. It's now
in case you needed any indicator, the stock market doesn't mean shit.
8 million people flipped into poverty. The Dow Jones is doing great. Oh my gosh.
And it's the 48th time that
broke 30 for the first time.
Trump administration, and there's never been anything like that. So I just
it's a new record for global oppression.
Everybody that worked so hard in the White House, but maybe most importantly, the people of our country. It's a tremendous achievement. The First Lady and I are thrilled to welcome you all to the beautiful Rose Garden, where the First Lady actually worked very hard on renovating it. It was 61 years. It was in rough shape. Very big job, actually. When you go to the wires underground, people have no idea how complex it is. But
Yeah, people like you have no idea how complex it is.
Whenever he explains something, he's like, "It's very complex. Not a lot of people understand." It's like,
very
I really want to know.
vague
Yeah, it's
about
probably
it.
something
Ivanka
super
and
simple.
Jared and Theodore, Arabella, Joseph, thank you very much for coming. They like the turkey.
Turkey.
The
On behalf
turkey.
of the entire Trump family, I want to wish
That's a sound
every
bite.
American a healthy
The
and
turkey.
very happy Thanksgiving.
New,
We're here
that's
today
a
to
subscribe
continue
button.
a beloved annual tradition, the
Maybe.
official presidential pardon of a very, very fortunate
Rubio.
Turkey.
because
Turkey.
Thanksgiving is
Rubio,
a
what?
special day for turkeys. I guess probably for the most part not a very good one when you think about it. The first turkey to dodge the White House dinner
Not very
table
good for
received
Rubio's
unofficial
career,
clearance
Not a
believe me.
good deal
when
for the
President
turkeys.
Abraham
Not a very,
Lincoln's
the
son,
turkeys are
Tad,
not very good
begged his
at
father
trade
to
deals,
spare his new
negotiating. They're not good at it.
For the past 73 years, the National Turkey Federation has presented the National Thanksgiving
The
Turkey
National Turkey
to the
Federation.
President, starting under President George H.W. Bush. These birds have received a formal pardon every single year.
Leave it to the
Today is
bushes.
my honor to present to you this year's lucky bird.
But we will not.
Absolute
But we will
nothing.
not pardon
And
whistleblowers or
just in
nonviolent drug
case
offenders.
We needed him.
Right.
But the turkey, yeah.
Cobb. Corn and cob. That's not too hard to remember, is it? These two magnificent
Even
gobblers
sticking
were
with,
selected
like-
from the official
like with animals,
presidential
too, it's
flock
like
of 30 turkeys.
They're gonna pardon a
Real
turkey
beauties.
while
They
like
were
mass
raised by
factory
the
farming
chairman
goes
of the
on and like
National
Right.
Turkey
fucking
Federation.
I was gonna say
animals.
they just name what they fed
Ron
them.
Cardell.
Pardon
Ron,
one,
thank you
pardon
very
one
much, Ron.
turkey, but
Please
kill a
stand up.
thousand.
Just genocide the other ones. Yeah.
Ron, thank
Well,
you for
that'd be
being here
just like
and your
turkey,
family,
right?
beautiful
Yeah, okay,
family. Thank
vegan.
you
Do a
very much for
genocide
being
and
here.
deny about it.
Like so many presidential flocks, this one started
You
in the
fucked
great state of
up.
Iowa in what can only
I'm
be
not
described
fucked.
as
Turkey's
an
fucked.
act
Turkey's
of
fucked up.
blatant pandering. And by the way, I love the state of Iowa. These two turkeys
Iowa.
sought to win the support of Iowans across the state by naming themselves Corn and Cob. After today's ceremony, these birds will retire under the care of skilled veterinarians at Iowa State University, a tremendous
Iowa State University slaughterhouse.
Once there, people of all ages will be able to visit them
Is it just
and
me or
learn
does he
about
sound like the mayor from
poultry
The
science,
Simpsons?
veterinary
Kind
medicine,
of, yeah.
the North
Exactly,
American
you got
tradition
it.
of farming. We love our farmers, I'll tell you.
Michael's
Yeah,
right.
the mayor that doesn't give a shit about anybody.
And we hope and we know
And his
it's
whole
going to
character is
happen
just
that Corn
pander
and
out
Cob
the ass.
have a
And
very
yeah,
Sounds
fuck
just like-
everybody.
long, happy, and memorable life.
You got that like politician voice.
This year,
The,
our nation commemorates the 400th anniversary of
Like
the
that really weird
Pilgrims
voice
landing
quiver.
on Plymouth Rock. After arriving in the New World, the brave men and women of the Mayflower
If
endured
they
a
did this
bitter
kind
and
of thing in
dangerous
like
winter.
some
very,
weird
very
country like
dangerous winter.
Uzbekistan, something,
Many
we'd be
were
like, oh, what a
sick,
weird
Most were
dictator.
starving.
yeah, we'd be like, this is
All were
or
praying
like
for
North Korea.
mercy.
It's like this is so
Thankfully, God
so
heard
dictatorial.
their prayers.
This is so authoritarian and
From our
disgusting.
earliest days, America has always been a
It's-
story of
And then putting them in a
perseverance and
special
triumph,
like place
determination
where
and
people
strength,
can view them
loyalty and
and
faith.
shit.
I fucking
This
did.
Wait, can you
week
skip
at
to
a
the part where he
time-
brings up the turkey?
That is very greatest American Thanksgiving health care vaccine. You know that the order of America
Oh,
is
fuck.
an issue alignment of
Obama
the
Trump.
Yeah.
Yes. He's fucking scared in this moment.
Turkeys will fuck you up, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Gee. The Almighty.
What if you just cap that turkey right now?
Corn, I hereby grant you a full pardon. Thank you, Corn.
The turkey's like, what the fuck's going on, dude?
It's probably off of like a fucking trank right now. It's just blitz.
Turkey, I grant you a pardon.
What if it did attack me? Wouldn't like the Secret Service?
That'd be pretty
And
cool.
they
Did
fucking-
it shoot it? Yeah.
This, yeah.
That's my boss. No,
It's literally just they've just bred it to. It's just a big chicken.
yeah,
That's literally all it
turkeys
is.
don't make sense, bro.
And to all my Americans, pod champ.
Top champ.
Oh,
Whoa, check W.
Omega low. Good night.
It would have been so much cooler if it was two hands. If he did it with two hands, I hereby pardon you.
Like some superpower.
Yeah, like he should. I mean, even this is pretty fucking weird.
Like kind of like a mage or something. Just like,
Yeah. I guess and that was fun. But while we're capping on Trump, we might as well make the time to do it on something relevant.
Yeah, we got a lot of shit today.
Yeah. Here on the show a lot, we've brought up, Trump pushing through executions of people that did, even regardless of the crime, like they were just pushing through executions that didn't need to happen.
In the middle of a pandemic, just wasting resources.
Yes. And here we have another case. And this time it's, with some of those other cases too, like a lot of times, like not only did they do that shit, but like, there at least was that argument. But in this case, like it's so much more nuanced too, and it's like the first female to be on, death row in like forever. So let's take a look at it. It says here from India Public Media, execution for only female federal death row inmate rescheduled. Lisa Montgomery is now the fourth federal death row inmate to have an execution date scheduled in the final 5 weeks of President Donald Trump's term. The Department of Justice rescheduled Lisa Montgomery's execution for January 12, 2021. Montgomery was convicted of murdering a Missouri woman in 2004 and cutting her baby out of her womb. She would be the first female prisoner executed by the federal government since 1953. Montgomery's original execution date of December 8th was postponed after her attorneys contracted the COVID-19 virus. Although most federal death row inmates are housed at the United States Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana, which are where those other people were being held that we talked about, Montgomery is being held at the Federal Medical Center in Carswell, Texas. On November 19th, D.C. District Judge Randolph Moss ordered Montgomery's execution not take place before December 31st, 2020. Miss Montgomery, is a quote from him, Miss Montgomery's mental health has been deteriorating since the government first set her execution date. She's being held under extremely harsh conditions, dressed in a, quote, suicide smock, given only a crayon to write with, and threatened with the loss of her underwear if she exhibits any distress.
Fuck.
Even as her attorney, it's horrifying. Even as her attorneys are still recovering from severe COVID-19, they are trying to monitor her fragile mental state and prepare a clemency petition that provides a full picture of how her lifetime of suffering physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, including being trafficked by her own mother and repeatedly gang raped, resulted in the dissociative disorder that led to her commission of the crime. Barring clemency, Montgomery will be the first of 3 inmates executed in a 5-day span. Corey Johnson, and we'll follow these too when these come up. Corey Johnson will be executed January 14, 2021. Dustin Higgs' execution is scheduled for a day later on January 15th. The Department of Justice scheduled a pair of executions in December. It'll be Brandon Bernard on the 10th and Alfred Bourgeois on the 11th. So yeah, they're pushing through even more of these executions. And
Yeah.
They're just
there's a
squeezing
slew of
them
them.
in.
Yeah.
Just that last part about like her upbringing is just insane.
Yeah, and we'll go more into that too. And like what Carlos said. Sorry.
Yes, you were quoting me.
Yeah, they're pushing them all through here at the last second, and it's like, dude, isn't this the president that they claim is like trying to do a soft coup, like illegitimate president, and they're just letting him get away with like pushing through executions here with his last 2 months of the presidency?
Well, yeah, I mean, because they don't fucking actually care.
Exactly.
And the people who are saying that lives most likely won't change regardless of who the president is. So, yeah, and also the same like people who are like that, like the same like libs who say that shit also see criminals as these monsters who deserve to die anyway.
Yeah,
so.
and they don't care that they're being executed.
So this is something that they agree with Trump on, but they'll never be like, no, Donald Trump's bad, even though.
Right.
And that's something we're going to get into later, but it's the same problem with neoliberalism in general. They want these soft, like half measures and regulations but they also want to keep the same market dynamic and everything.
We need more humane executions.
Yeah.
We need humane woman by POC executions. And we need more of them.
I believe in you should have the right to die, but let's not give that power to the state.
No, yeah, exactly. If you want to die, die.
It's crazy that the state won't allow you, to request a doctor to kill you.
Yeah, not in the U.S.
Yeah, and we have to push for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can only do it, a couple states in select circumstances if you have, a terminal disease.
Yeah, exactly. Which is insane. Like, I don't know if it is like that anymore, but I think you used to be able to get arrested if you survived committing suicide.
Jeez.
Yeah, which is so crazy because it's isn't
it because you basically did a violent act upon yourself?
Yeah,
which is still a crime.
Yeah, but you would think they would put you through get some
a lot
help,
of times. A lot of times they arrest your family after
just
put you under holding.
Because they didn't take care of you, neglect and all that shit.
Yeah, they just assume it's somehow your fault immediately.
Yeah.
Not that there's
touching
a lot of shit fucked.
Yeah. Touching on that, Trump hasn't fucking, he's pushing these through, and he's lost, right? He's the losing president. Can we pull up the DPIC, Death Penalty Information Center? It says DPIC analysis: federal government to conduct first lame duck federal executions in more than a century. In a dramatic deviation from historical practices, the Trump administration is poised to conduct the first federal executions during a lame duck presidency in more than a century. The Department of Justice has scheduled the 3 federal executions, which we talked about. The last time the U.S. government carried out an execution between a presidential election and the inauguration of the new president for a federal crime was nearly 132 years ago, on January 25th, 1889, when the outgoing administration of Grover Cleveland, who's consistently ranked as one of our worst presidents, executed Richard Smith, a Choctaw Indian, for a murder on tribal land in Arkansas. And that's all we need from that article, but it's just,
As soon as I zoom it in.
Fucking, as much as we like to shit on Biden, and I'm sure his administration would do something like this too. It's man, Trump's administration does suck dick and balls. They're just, and everything that's connected to him too. The Dems that are allowing, as we said, this to happen.
Yeah.
Just losing presidency, and they're just, we're just gonna start killing people. Let's bring up the last article here so we can kind of go more into Lisa Montgomery's case. It says here, thousands from Common Dreams, thousands urge commutation of abuse victim Lisa Montgomery's death row sentence as Trump continues federal executions. More than 1,000 people, including child advocates, mental health experts, anti-sex trafficking and domestic violence groups, and prosecutors are calling on President Donald Trump to commute the sentence of Lisa Montgomery, who has been sentenced to face the death penalty on December 8th, which, as we now know, has been moved, for a crime she committed after a lifetime of abuse. The execution would continue a slew of state-sanctioned killings by the Trump administration. The group sent a total of 6 letters to the White House on Wednesday, all outlining Montgomery's history of being born with brain damage due to her mother's excessive alcohol consumption during pregnancy, the sexual abuse she suffered as a child and adult, and how the abuse caused her to develop severe mental illness. Montgomery's lawyer, federal public defender Amy Hardwell, told HuffPost that Montgomery was, quote, psychotic and disconnected from reality at the time she murdered Bobby Joy Stinnett, who was pregnant in 2004. Montgomery abducted Stinnett's unborn child and was convicted of the crime in 2007. At Common Dreams last month, Sandra Babcock, factory director of the Cornell Center of the Death Penalty Worldwide, described the abuse Montgomery suffered for decades before her crime. Montgomery was raped by her stepfather repeatedly and was subjected to sex trafficking by her mother beginning in her early teens. She reported the abuse, including to a cousin who worked in law enforcement, but no one intervened. Her mother also physically abused Montgomery and her siblings before pressuring Montgomery to marry her stepbrother at age 18. The marriage was also abusive, and after giving birth to 4 children, Montgomery was pressured into an involuntary sterilization procedure. Quote here, over the years, her mental health continued to deteriorate, and her behavior became increasingly erratic, Babcock wrote. Montgomery has since been diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic features, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and dissociative disorder, and requires psychotropic drugs in order to function and connect with reality. So this person's been fucking abused their whole life and been shit on every turn by the system, and now they're going to try to push through an execution of her just because she did something in a manic state that, like, you know, she has no control over.
Which I think is one of like the biggest things about our whole show, and like how much this like almost like enrages me is this person, like you said, was, their back was turned to them at every point by the system. They were shit on by the system. They had no chance ever to ever have a fair shake in life. They grew up in this bad spot, and the system does not supply the necessary it doesn't supply what we need to live a good and decent life. She went through all this bullshit her whole life, all this crazy shit, and can't get the important and necessary medical care or mental health care, which is medical care, that she needs. And she did this thing in this manic state, and now she's being put to death for it. When everything about the situation could have been prevented if we just had a universal healthcare system that included a mental health, and we had a strong and robust mental health system that was able to help people like this. And to be completely honest, I'm not going to go on a limb and say we'll fix everything, but having socialism and workers owning the means of production, and not having having our needs taken care of, like our basic necessities taken care of by the government, a lot of these situations I think wouldn't occur. A lot of these fucked up situations were with abuse and other things like that. When our basic needs are taken care of and we have less stressors on our, being human and being alive alone is stressful enough, but to have to think about where your next meal is coming from, how you're going to pay rent, how you're going to keep your water and lights on, all these things can do and cause so many subconscious issues. And of course, it's not excusing the terrible things that these people did, but to her, they did terrible things to her. But at some point, you got to realize that it all stems from one place. And even if it doesn't stem from just one place, which is the result of capitalism, it is a mental health issue, which in our case in America is a result of capitalism and how we leave these things to the market rather than actually taking care of the needs of our citizens.
Yeah, and we've covered multiple times both capitalism as being a force that deteriorates your mental health, as well as one that doesn't help you when you have a mental health crisis and ends up killing you.
Yeah.
So
fixing the root cause of the problem, and then
it would help both things, both the mental health of the person before this act was even committed, as well as I mean, now they've done nothing to. She's just sitting in a fucking jail cell. Her mental state is just further deteriorating.
Yeah, it's getting out.
And then even if they don't execute her now, you might be too far gone at that point.
Exactly, and and if they don't kill her now, there's still the thing on the back of her mind that I could die at any moment. At the hands of the state,
which has been the whole time up to this point. She's known that, so of course that's had an effect too. But I just wanted to touch on that.
Talk about the ultimate abuse. Like, you're just living your life for like decades now, pretty much at this point. Just thinking, when am I gonna die? When am I gonna be sentenced to death?
It's horrifying to think about. Like, to be in that situation, you wake up every day. Like, is this the day I'm gonna die? Are they gonna wake me up and take
13 years?
So it's
yeah.
I mean, it's still prison, but it's just
13 years. You wake up every day feeling the same.
Yeah.
A lot of people have to be subjected to that.
We'll keep touched up with, if we can, with the other executions as well, because such a shame, so disgusting they're pushing those through.
Truly.
Speaking of disgusting, do we want to go to our next?
Yeah, this one will be a little bit more lighthearted. We're gonna be I brought this idea to them last night or this morning or whatever. We're basically going to be like debunking this argument, and I thought it would be a cool thing to do, because as I've said in other episodes, I think it's important, especially with talking just with conservative friends and family, to be equipped with the tools to de-radicalize them and bring them to your side, or at least to a better side, especially with things that are so no-brainer. Today we're going to be talking about student loan debts and free college in general. So we have this. We're going to be shooting on this video. Before we even pull it up on the screen, fuck Steven Crowder. He's an idiot. He's a piece of shit. He's a joke, and he's a theater kid who LARPs as a STEM lord. I'll say that before anything.
When you watch there's an argument they say that you don't want to throw in too much bias before you act, like you should get to the facts first and then kind of give your perspective, but
Steven Crowder doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Steven Crowder is a different fucking monster. This guy is a grifter. This guy's an idiot.
I kind of want to show the other video first.
Oh yeah, we should show.
It's more important to get this context first, so we just kind of know who we're dealing with.
He's somewhere within the PragerU network too. So somewhere, somehow, he takes oil money. So
standard conservative corporate sellout.
Quick backstory to this video. He was at a protest, or he was at some kind of strike or whatnot, and he was agitating a group of union workers. And that's all I'll say. Let's watch and see what happens when you agitate union workers.
You're just assaulting me. Oh, fucking give me that gabagoo.
Give me that gabagoo. Afterwards. First words I hear, Crowder's a grifter. And I think, hey, welcome to the show, brother. Yeah, fuck Steven Crowder. Thank you for the follow as well. Yes. We're just about to get into it and talk about how much of a fucking idiot he is. So stick around.
I think I found the show. Hell yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to subject you to Lil Crowder for a few minutes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with
myself. I don't usually subject myself.
This is gonna be painful.
But yeah, let us get into it, baby.
Let it rip.
Chuck Schumer suggested Biden should forgive students the first $50,000 in student loan debt with an executive order. Now, here's the thing that people don't understand about this. People think, oh, that sounds great, student loans, right? Most people watch this who go out and protest and go, I'm bogged down with student loans. You should be. You made bad choices.
Pause.
Not everyone, but most.
No, you should not be. You should never be bogged down with student loans. At every point in your life, you should have a chance to get a free and good education to do whatever it is you want to do. And that doesn't just mean college education. That means trade schools as well. Like, say you want to be a fucking a carpenter, dude. Go be a carpenter and have it paid for by the state and be the best carpenter you can fucking be, man.
And we know it's doable.
Because other countries do it.
Goof here.
Fucking Slovenia does it. But yeah, anyway.
Just that noise.
All right.
What's he wearing too? Like this slip?
He's wearing like a slick, like a silk lingerie with a gun holster.
He's supposed to be the guy that's like, I'm not gay, right? That's his shtick. Yeah.
All right.
Bogged down with student loans, says nobody who aced their way through medical school residency and then actually fulfilled their chosen profession.
Never talked to a human before.
If you go to law school, in general, underwater baths,
everybody can be a doctor.
You might be out there at a Bernie rally. I understand where you're coming from. I'm trying to walk a mile in your shoes, but they're Toms. So here's something people understand. The highest income households in the United States owe 60% of student loan debt, while the lowest income households owe less than 20% of outstanding student loan debt. Because lower income households, they typically either go to a community college, a trade school, or get something known as a scholarship. The people who
they don't even try because they can't.
Or
3 years.
So basically, what he just said was poor people shouldn't go to school. And what he's about to do is he's about to make the argument that forgiving student loan debt is helping rich people and not poor people.
Which is a favorite argument of the fucking libs.
Like fucking
Buttigieg.
Yeah. And this guy's a fucking idiot. Like he like I don't know, the grift is so obvious and like right-wing talking points are just so rehearsed. Like it's super fucking stupid.
Well, and you can see his value of education when he says like when he's trying to put into those two groups, he's like, "Oh, you're a doctor, good job." But if you're a gender studies,
yeah, we're like underwater basket.
And they use it in every single argument as well, and they just pull it out of their ass.
Just as some pejorative, but the reality is like, and we know this, that education shouldn't just be to get a fucking job. It should be to educate yourself and make yourself a full human.
This was the argument I was gonna kind of make when we were finished, but yeah, pretty much.
You want to take it?
It's just, because the whole thing he brings into question more or less, like through his arguments, are what's the point of a college education?
Right.
And to be honest, if you look at the history of college and how far back it goes, it's just the whole point is higher education. Like, what do we know? What can we teach people? It's not been used to get a good high-paying job so you can move up to the top of society.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the primary point of higher education.
In fucking Plato's school, I don't think there was a business
That's
class.
a small amount of people.
And also, like, on top of this, Steven Crowder is a fucking creative arts major. He's not, like his degree is useless. He's
also Canadian, so
he's literally no better than us.
Okay, and the thing about, like, with Canada, fuck it. Okay, where is it? I have it pulled up here. The average in I believe it's 2017, the average tuition for an undergrad degree in Canada is $6,463 Canadian dollars a year.
Tuition. Yeah.
And then $7,000 for a graduate's degree. Canadian dollars.
And that's not even considering like Canadians on average make more money, have health insurance, they're not paying for that.
Exactly. They're like, he's this fucking Canadian dude. He wants to be American so bad, dude.
Yeah, or he wants to lie for oil.
Oh yeah,
companies.
He's a piece of shit. But yeah, let's keep going here.
Do we have to?
From German poetry to gender studies to Afro-lesbian studies, which is actually an actual thing in Michigan.
It is. Oh, I love this one.
God forbid we study black lesbians.
Of the student loan debt. Think about this for a second. This is effectively a handout to the wealthy. 56% of student loan debt is for graduate school.
Way to flip it on its head.
Yeah, 56% of student loan debt, we have this is from the Brookings Institute, is for graduate
The CIA,
school.
the feds.
Most people with advanced degrees.
You mean the expensive education is the one they take the loans out of?
Unless it's a useless degree.
Right.
Okay, pause.
We talk about the
There's no such thing, really quick. Everybody who wants to go to school, who's thinking about going to school, who's in school, there's no such thing as a useless degree. That is fake and that is made up. That is like a capitalist mindset that there's useless degrees. When you go into a field that you are truly passionate about, that is the most useful thing because that is what you truly want to do as a human being.
Obviously, some industries, if you try to get your way in there, it can be a good opportunity to make money, which unfortunately is what a lot of people are encouraged to do. Even if they don't like whatever the profession is, or how scummy it might be.
I have something to bring up here. Sadly, a huge thing with lawyers. People go to the school to get their degree to be a lawyer. They have to take these. Some of them are grifters that actually do want jobs with corporations, but some people take these jobs with big corporations to defend them, to pay off their student loans because defending people doesn't make enough money to pay off their student loan debt. So they can't do what they actually want to do and defend the people. Because where's the money? So they have to go and defend these big corporations, and some of them do get sucked into that and become these terrible people. They do everything they can to make sure corporations are getting away with our money, and that's the fucked up part.
Yeah, corporate
and that's another layer to it. Why we need to forgive all student loan debt as well as make all college tuition free. Let's continue.
The NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. You look at Joe Biden's policies and Barack Obama's policies, and you look at the unemployment rate in the United States. You look how it affected Black American families. You look how the average household income only went up by $1,000 in 8 years under Obama, and then you look at $5,000 on average under the first term of Donald Trump. And you look at this.
And we don't like NAFTA either.
People shouldn't have student debt. Well,
but he'll defend NAFTA under Trump, who just redid fucking NAFTA 2.0.
And they
decide more Republicans supported NAFTA and Democrats.
Anyone can go to a community college, and anyone can get their grades up and get a scholarship. I know a kid who was a pothead loser in high school.
Anecdotes.
I identify as a pothead loser.
I'm a pothead loser.
I fucking hate his
I'm a pothead winner.
Look at the fact that he's like, I'm gonna use this anecdote that's totally fake to justify.
This guy's just there for the smirk. This is this guy's job. He's just there for the
to agree with someone that doesn't
to just
make
go.
sense.
Yeah.
He's got the look on his face like, yeah, I don't give a shit what this guy is saying.
He's got the spiky hair. Legend. 2003.
He's a Harvard law grad, cum laude. He's the guy who Bill was introduced by this guy.
Yeah.
This friend of mine.
Guy.
He was a pothead.
We all love a success
story. He met a
story.
wonderful woman who he's married to now. He said, "You're going to get your crap together." Went to community college, got straight A's. Went to UT, got straight A's. Then went to Harvard on some kind of a grant or scholarship because he was an outstanding student. Got straight A's, graduated cum laude. This is a kid who came from a rough background, from a poor background.
I say cum laude,
and he was already behind the 8 ball because he was doing nothing.
I agree 100%.
Now, I know the potheads out there who are going to get mad. I'm not saying that everyone who smokes a pothead is a burnout loser, though you probably are if you're offended by this and you're going to comment in the section.
Yeah.
I don't think you're one of the
I'm not offended. I embrace it.
high-functioning executives who occasionally dabbles in tincture. I think that you are what we're talking about.
A little fucking nerd, dude. Like, look at him. He's like, tincture. I made a good weed joke.
Look how far they've strayed from the initial argument, too.
That's hard work.
Yeah.
They're not even building like extra
business.
arguments,
It really
too.
does bother me, though.
If
You
anything,
don't
they're
have
just
to go to
waving
college.
a large
This
hat
is your
out of the way.
choice. Be responsible for the decision that you've made to do this with
Pause.
your life.
This is
responsibility of debt.
Yeah, look at like right there. First of all, before I continue, I want to acknowledge afterwards. You're dropping fact bombs in the chat. Hell yeah, brother. But also, this whole fucking rugged individuals argument is so fucking stupid and annoying because you have these. Look at they're literally they're in silk lingerie, sitting in this studio room talking about. You have to be responsible for your own decisions. If you wanted to be a doctor, fuck you. Like if you're a poor person that wants to do something good with their lives, it sucks to be poor, man. Now you can't because if you take out the student loan debt and can't pay it off because you didn't ace school, fuck you, dude. And the thing with that is like medical debt has only increased since the 90s and like exponentially. Like I believe in the year 99 it was around 100,000 to like that's like the average loans people take out, the average debt people take out. And now in I think the last studies in 2016 it's like near $220,000 of you have to take out just to get through medical school. And I believe I want to say that's before. Let me double check. No, that's including medical school, I believe. But yeah, it's ridiculous to make this fucking claim, which like I said already, he's a creative arts major. He's a fucking idiot, and he's gonna continue to LARP as this fucking STEM lord. So all these little Republican kids who are like fresh out of high school can be like, "Yeah, I watched Steven Crowder, bro. Changed my mind."
Right. And just
this guy, he seemed like he'd fit right in with Team 10.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Lack of value of education.
Good things are happening to other people, and I don't like it. Yeah, that's why he left Canada, bro. He's like, man, people are really happy in Canada. I got to get the fuck out of here. Let's go to America and watch homeless people die in the streets.
Well, the reality is he probably came here because he found a grift where he could make some money.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine like the people who actually watch this dude and think they're
apparently millions of people.
It's just a bunch of fucking edgy kids.
Yeah, apparently like 5 million people on YouTube subscribe.
Yeah, and that's I think like off topic, but I think that's like the funniest part about like people like conservatives when they say, "Oh, the real money is when you grift to the left." It's like, what are you talking about, dude?
No,
it's like what can you sell?
Ben Shapiro makes so much money being a fucking idiot and a liar every day. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, unless you're just shilling someone's products, like, I mean,
you literally
that's like all you can do.
They have a left media person that's making bank, other than like Chapo, maybe.
And that's from small dollar. That's from
all small dollar donors.
That's not real money. Like Republican money is crazy because they support this system and they want to further deregulate the system so the people that fund them make more money.
Yes.
If you're a leftist, you want to completely destroy the entire system and rebuild it to where we, the people, benefit. And no, what corporations would be like, yeah, that's a good idea, man. Here, take all this fucking money.
Never.
Exactly. You can continue.
What the media does is try and say, oh, look, this will help people of color. This will help the disenchanted minorities in this country who need a leg up. They are not the people who are incurring most of the student loan debt. It's usually people who come from wealthy
no, he's a fucking
families who
idiot.
decide to go into useless degrees and fields. And for some reason, now you, the working class American citizen who did not impale yourself on the spike of student debt, you are going to be the one left with the bill. You're going to foot the bill for Courtney,
for someone to learn something. You're going
to
pay for someone
German
to learn
dance
something.
degree. That's what this
You're
forgiveness is.
in,
You working, and you wonder
generation.
why the union members, not the union leaders, not the union actual
Look,
representatives,
here's the guy got
members
here's the
of
guy
the
got
Midwest.
here. Pause it. Pull the video back up.
He just got his ass beat.
He just mentioned unions. Bring up the fucking video where he's getting his ass beat by union members. Absolutely not. We will not have that in this fucking house.
The guy gave him the lips.
Yeah, that's the guy who just said what the unions actually want. That guy right there, who got beat up by union.
He's the voice of the unions.
Yeah, this guy right here.
I love the faces Chink makes. It's so good.
But yeah. This guy's a huge fucking idiot, and he brought up the useless degrees thing. We talked about that just a second ago, but yeah, there's no such thing as useless degree. Anybody who just joined.
And it just all stems back to that they don't value, obviously because he's paid you, but they don't value education because they think of it as just strictly a means of making money. Yeah,
and like he's already brought up like gender studies like 2 or 3 times as like it's some kind of like bad thing that's taking over everything. There's like literally nothing wrong with being in like a gender studies major and like using accent major. I'd rather you be I'd rather be a fucking gender studies major than a business major. But using statistics and facts, the thing that he likes to avoid. In 2017, the total gender and culture studies degrees awarded was less than 15,000 in the entire country and is on a decline. And there are literally more people. There are more people with gender studies degrees in the workforce than there are coal miners. So for him to make this and he his whole thing is like these gender studies people are ruining America, etc., etc. The coal miners are the real working class. There's literally more people with gender studies degrees in the current working force working, creating the economy you have than there are coal miners. And then, there's nothing wrong with being a coal miner either, but
no, it shows how little he has interacted with academia too.
It shows how little, he probably understands it, but he's a grifter, so he's not going to tell you he understands it. But how diverse and the working class is. We come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and creeds, and we all exist under this capitalist system that wants, we got to pay our bills, man.
Yeah.
And we want to propel ourselves into, a higher socioeconomic status to make better for our kids. That's like that's what we do.
Really what people want are better standards, like better quality of life. However, we get it.
I totally agree. Afterwards, Afterwards says his argument completely ignores the fact that
the best way to get it
part of the problem
democratic system
is the ridiculous inflation that are the cause of these forgiveness programs. I completely agree.
Say one of the things I was gonna mention is not like who's giving out these loans.
Exactly, and we'll get into that.
The major banks.
This is where after this, it just downhill.
People working on the assembly line, and then they're talking about under this potential president, depending on the state, up to 62% marginal tax rates, paying for kids who are getting degrees in gender
Please say
studies
top
and poetry.
marginal tax rate. Like he leaves out that word, so you think 62% of my dollar, or like 62% of my pennies on the dollar.
You said probably a purposeful.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like same thing with the disenchanted thing. Like he leaves this out, so you're like, Biden 62%. I only 100 out of $100.
My money.
62. My money. But he's.
The thing I was trying to point out earlier is like you can tell he has no experience with like the American college system too. Because if you know anything about the American college system, they're fucking destroying these humanities, gender studies programs, etc.
Yeah, that's exactly.
They're getting hollowed out. Yeah, like
because they're
of
no use to the corporate state.
Yeah, so they cut out teachers, they cut out classes, they increase STEM, they increase the things that you're saying are the only reason people should go to school for. The things you're claiming that are useless, they're fucking, the college system itself is hollowing them out and getting rid of all those things. So yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And philosophy. Of course that plays poorly with the American public, and that's why it's remarkable that Joe Biden could win an election. The only reason that he would be able to is because the media never talks about this, because he doesn't speak the language of the middle class. He hasn't seen Scranton. Also, he didn't win the election.
That's true.
Allow me to sort of help you.
Just me, or you sound like he's whining.
Hit a hot air balloon. Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
You follow the money trail. Okay. All right. Here's Timmy. He's getting a degree in Afro-lesbian-centric studies. Okay.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right, here he is. He gets a loan. Here's the two universities. Here's Timmy. Okay. So you know what? Here, let's move this. This is Timmy. This is the university. This is the loan.
He's in it for one semester.
So Timmy wants to go to university and get a degree in Afro-lesbian funk. Okay.
True.
He gets a loan from the bank, and that gets paid to the university, right? At this point. And
a loan from who?
With interest. The university gets the money. This money has already gone through. So now Timmy has a useless degree and he's in debt. And what's going to happen is he goes to the bank. The university already has the money. Now what they're going to do is absolve him of his debt by giving this money to the bank. What do you think happens with that school? We got away with that one. Let's charge more money next time.
Yeah.
Nationalizing schools.
What do we charge?
The banks
$50,000 so we can make
can't afford it.
The difference with an
gotta pay it back to that bank.
All right, let's charge them $75,000. The government's going to step in and pay anyway.
Crash the economy.
Stupid factory workers shouldn't have gone to trade school, bitches.
No, play, but just really listen to what he says right here. It's insane.
Think about that for a second. It's going to make it worse. Of course that's going to cause inflation. There's no reason for schools to compete and bring down tuition costs. The idea of forgiving student loans encourages the actual, now people use the term predatory lending, right, with banks, where it's like, no, this, again, the problem there, when all of these scenarios, the same thing with school tuition, in every
he's going to say right now, just listen.
Every scenario, when you look at out of control, inflated costs, what you find is government interventionism. The industry, insurance, right? Airlines, student loans,
airlines,
right? When you
student
do
loans,
any kind of medical. You want to tell me that those are energy? Those are unregulated industries? For crying out, this always makes
so who do you get the loan from? The bank.
Everyone has to purchase health insurance. We're going to punish them.
Yes, those are all unregulated industries, and as a result of that, they are fucking up this country and destroying this country, especially our energy sector and our health sector. Our health sector is literally killing at minimum 45,000 people every single year. And not maximum,
and
but
now it's spurred the whole new fucking.
Wait, so you know what that means? It means we're paying for it.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're paying for it.
We're paying for it regardless. Exactly.
When he said that, I literally my jaw dropped, because how do you say that seriously? How do you just, the energy sector and the medical sector are all problems of government regulation. The more government regulation, the less incentive companies have to do the right thing. It's like, what are you talking about?
We're paying either way, but in his scenario, we should just pay the banks the money. That's the right thing. Not give everyone an education. Give all the banks.
It's just the right wing shtick. That's all it is.
Within the existing framework of our market economy, when you do this regulation, it's the only thing stopping corporations from fucking us. And even the regulations we have are half measures by neolibs who literally want to keep this same market system we have, but which is regulations and half measures. And then you have the conservatives that look at that and be like, these half measures are useless. Get rid of them. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Communist, socialist, Marxist, anarchist, Stalinist. But these people literally have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And when you hear Steven Crowder say dumb shit like that, government regulation is why the medical field, or the medical sector and the energy sector is so fucked up, is insane. Literally batshit crazy.
Unless it's Donald Trump, then the government's good and they're doing the right thing for the people.
Afterworld says it's more profitable to keep people sick and treat the symptoms than to work towards keeping people healthy and correcting problems. Thus, the medical insurance industry is born. True, and
absolutely.
And beyond just the medical industry, you have big business like the corn lobby,
big business.
the corn lobby who dumps money into our system, and that's why you have high fructose corn soup and everything. It's a
and a bunch of slew of unregulated industries.
Yeah,
not just the medical industry. Yeah,
and but just literally everything. It's like,
I know this is a little off topic, but I just remembered it from a other thing I was watching earlier, which is related to a segment we'll be doing in a little bit.
Mhm.
But of the new types of like biodegradable plastics that are being made, I know one of them is made out of corn. So
Nice.
we finally have a good use
Say
for corn. Good use for corn. Plastic.
Isn't that the main like alternative gas they try to push to? Is like ethanol or whatever, corn-based ethanol.
yeah.
They got their hands in the shits.
But yeah,
Corn and cob.
Yep.
when the whole top-down system is based around like this weird just market system we have, it's only going to lead to more problems, and the lack of government regulation because we don't have a real left party in this country is a huge issue, and it's leading to the destruction of our planet, literally.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see people like Afterworlds in the chat who are like who are very conscious about what's going on and are here, typing in chat, talking to us about talking about how we want to fix it. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining. And then we can continue on if you want.
Actually going to charge you a fine if you don't purchase health insurance. By the way, health insurance, you have to accept anyone with pre-existing conditions.
Right.
Oh, good. Well, then at that point, I guess, but is there like a limit on the rate we can charge? No limit. Okay. Then it's $20,000 a month.
Literally just made an argument against protecting pre-existing conditions.
People say predatory lending. All right, the government steps in and says, you are going to lend this money to these people who cannot afford this house.
Right.
That's not really what we do here at this bank of making money. Oh, really? Well, here's the
solution
thing.
is
If they
let
can't
the
actually
people
pay
they
you
don't
back,
want
we're going to
die.
give you the money. All right, sold.
Wait, that was a huge.
Well,
He just
they're
said.
explaining-
Pause really quick. He just said something insane right there. He's like, the banks that are in business to make money. It's like that's the problem. When a bank is in business to make money rather than just do what a bank's supposed to do. Why do you think we had to bail out the banks when everything crashed in 2008?
Right.
Why do you think we have to bail out the banks every time anything crashes?
We forgave their debts.
Well, we don't have to bail out the banks.
We can't forgive our debts.
We did bail out the banks.
Yeah, the easiest way Donald Trump's not actually helping people is just all the small businesses just going under.
Right.
That proves it.
While Boeing gets like a
no
$600 billion package or whatever.
So any argument you say that Trump is actually helping people, just forget it. No, he's not. He's not helping anybody.
Yeah.
He'll give you crumbs. But he's not going to help you bail out your business because you go under through no fault of your own.
Yeah.
Unless you're paying his campaign donations.
Yeah.
Explaining to insurance people what insurance is, and the insurance people are like, no, you can't accept people with pre-existing.
Yeah. Right.
That's not what insurance is.
No.
And they're
explaining like, well, just charge them more. Oh, okay, and then we'll pay the bill. And then you go to schools. So we have homes, we have insurance, and now we have schools. If they go to kids, where they go, okay, listen. So if school, let's say you can afford what, $10,000? All right, we're going to charge $50,000 because Uncle Sam is none the wiser. There are a bunch of grants and scholarships that we can find to make up that difference. There's an incentive to make school unaffordable. Otherwise, you're leaving tens of thousands of federal dollars.
You're right. It's not unaffordable now. You're totally right.
Which is really interesting because his whole
hypothetical situation
and his whole philosophy is the people who own these companies want to give people the best deal. So it's weird how when put in this situation in real life and not just in theory and in the air dreams, they fuck over people. That's really interesting that his whole entire philosophy just immediately collapsed on itself. And his only thing to defend himself is say government regulation. He has actually no foot to stand on whatsoever, but it's really interesting that his entire philosophy fell apart instantly. Like he's debating himself, and it's really weird.
Yes. He's like, if the government steps in, they're gonna price gouge us. And it's like, but they're not. It's just like he assumes he just puts the government in, and he's like, oh, they do the bad thing.
And it's almost
they're doing what the private people are doing right now with private capitals.
It's interesting because it's almost like he forgets that there are real life examples of how the government stepped in and helped just off the top of my head, milk. The government came in and capped the price of milk because people were fucking people over for gallons of milk. And so the government stepped in and was like, we're going to fix this. They did. And look what happened.
Or think about other countries when it comes to medical costs.
Right.
Exactly.
They can negotiate prices effectively.
We're the only industrialized nation to not negotiate drug prices. And for the most part, we make a shit ton of these drugs here in the country, but we don't negotiate the price on what we buy them for.
Not even including the research.
Exactly, which most, like the overwhelming majority of research for the drugs that we use that are owned by private companies come from public universities and public research. But the patents are then bought at a really low price by private corporations, and then they price gouge and fuck us over. So your tax dollars are finding the cures for diseases, but sadly, you cannot reap the benefits because of our oppressive capitalist system that we exist under.
Scenarios,
and which is our
it's
whole
the
point. We want to fix
coming,
that.
and by the government, I mean the taxpayer's dime at which Joe Biden has suckled at the teat, upon the teat of the taxpayer for 67 years now at this point. They are the ones who come in and they say, oh, we'll just pay for Jimmy's afro.
I'm angry. Hair turning blue.
And what happens? Yeah. Inflation out of control. Yeah. You saw it with home mortgage.
That's what's happening now, though.
Couldn't afford. You saw it with insurance premiums and deductibles skyrocketing, and you see it with student loan costs.
What happened under Reagan?
Is actually stop subsidizing these schools and their predatory rates. These people are taking advantage of students by charging them more than they can afford.
Defund public schools.
Makes up the gap.
Really
That's where it's
interesting.
predatory. Not banks being forced at a gun of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac to give a house to someone.
One thing that seems like the solution: let's defund those.
Watch good.
Really, it's crazy.
Good morning,
don't tune in.
Yeah, do not tune in. Fuck Stephen. I really hope you paid attention to everything we were talking about. And if you just joined and missed what we were talking about earlier, you can go ahead and look at the VOD after the show or wait till tomorrow when the full thing will be timestamped and uploaded, and we will have links to all the information, links, and articles that we used for the show.
I need to go bleach my eyeballs.
Yeah. On that note, after this little segment we did, which I thought was cool, we already debunked these arguments. We're going to take a quick break, and for those who are just joining in, our breaks, we play one song while everybody goes to the bathroom and gets water and whatnot. So we're going to be back after this song. And so, please enjoy, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you, and please stick around.
But I'ma hold you closer so you can see that your loving hands gotten me down on bended knees. Cause you got that hard swagger, baby. And it's a fine God that bless me with this loving lady. She by my side, I know you got that good loving, honey. When you hold me tight, got me acting like a fool. Cause your love, it feels so right, yeah.
I'm a fool for love. Now that I found you, my love for you is out of control. I'm a fool for love. Your love that drives me crazy. Boy, your love is driving me crazy.
She make me na me fool, na me love. She want to know me not a fool and I me love. Feel me love it up so when I bought a fool and I be love. Feel me love it cause I'm a fool for love.
PogChamp, we're back. Welcome. Hope you guys enjoyed that song. Shout out Dirty Rice. They're a local group here in Oxnard, California, baby.
Yeah, all of our music is local.
Yeah, all of our music
Remember, if
is
there's any
local to
local
805.
artists that want to,
Yeah, if you're watching and you're a local artist here in the 805,
yeah, hit us
feel
up
free to
on
reach
our
out to
Twitter.
it. It's down here in the description. If you just scroll down a little bit, you can reach out to us and link us your music, man. We'll be happy to play it on the show.
Yeah, we want to promote people local.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, as Carlos said too, we could do more interesting stuff too, like maybe have people's art up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Physical
that's right.
art,
Yeah.
The
graphic art.
background and stuff too.
Starting the
Yeah.
show up with like local artists and photographers, etc. Yeah,
Be interesting to integrate like a kind of magazine thing too was an interesting idea. I had
Yeah.
Or, like you could
pitch.
you could like play music and then put like people's arts like as like a slideshow or something.
Yeah,
Like
we
the
want to be
artwork that they have.
a microphone for our community, man.
Oh yeah. Let's kick off our next.
Yeah, let's kick it off. We're back from the break. First thing we're going to start off with is more news about the potential Biden cabinet and what we're looking at here. So we have this tweet here from Jeffrey Stein of Washington Post. He's a pretty well respected guy for the most part. He does I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Secular Talk. Obviously, us with the show are, but he's a really cool lefty guy. So Jeffrey Stein, after getting scooped by at least two different news outlets, I can now confirm accuracy reports saying that Janet Yellen will be Biden's pick for Treasury Secretary, per three people briefed. And some interesting things about Janet Yellen. She is an ex-economic advisor to Clinton, so we can already just off of that get some
NAFTA sold out.
Just get some notes off. Just get some
Center
nice
of this country.
neoliberalism notes off the first taste.
Boy, I gotta admit, everyone who is saying that Biden's looking like Bill Clinton 2.0 should be cashing in right
nail
now.
on head. Yeah.
And she also was a economist for the Brookings Institute, the famous Brookings Institute. She is literally the ops. She is the feds, man.
Yeah.
And so, just based off of things like that, we can literally already tell we're going to get just a big heaping scoop of garbage neoliberalism. And throughout our past shows, we've been updating you guys on the potential picks for Biden's cabinet. And I thought I would just add to that as well.
Yeah. Well, and as Treasury Secretary, she's definitely going to, and yeah, all those neoliberal think tanks like the Brookings Institute, they're just going to use modern monetary, print as much money as possible, but they're not going to print all that money to actually help normal people.
They're gonna print all that money to go to Raytheon and Shell, etc.
Yeah,
women CEOs.
They're using MMT to fuck us over.
Right. Instead of using it for what it could be used for, to actually help people.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who in the board of directors decided that was a good idea to make the CEO a woman to probably for like a PR relations or something, or I should say PR relation is the acronym. But
I mean, yeah.
There has been a bunch of companies in the last like 5 years that now have female CEOs, probably expressly for that purpose.
Well, what's it called? Is it Raytheon? They got the award for having the most diverse like LGBT staff.
Because I
but it's
remember seeing the
Raytheon,
chart
the
of
same-
like a bunch of quote unquote defense companies, and they're all headed by women CEOs now. Like
Exactly, because
that
they
seems-
cash in
that
the
just
they
seems
cash in the lib.
odd more than anything.
You cash in all those lib points so they support the wars that you're creating bombs for.
It's like out
and
of
you
all
win.
out of all the positions a woman could be CEO of, just Raytheon.
And the issue isn't, as Carlos was pointing out, the issue isn't the woman CEO. The issue is what they're the CEO of.
Yeah, exactly. It's like because typically when you think male CEO, you're thinking like the typical rich oppressor of society. You're not
Right.
thinking like someone who's actually in the benefit of the people. You think someone who's taking advantage of the war system of war, especially in these defense, I say, sparingly companies.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Well, Biden's gonna go for some male picks here too. If we can pull up the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Afterwards, you don't actually have to be a progressive if you appear as such. Yeah.
And then if we can, okay, so I'll read the tweet. This is from Max Blumenthal at Gray Zone. Biden is considering Mike Morrell as CIA director. Sorry. This exchange elucidates his worldview pretty well. Charlie Rose, quote, "We make them pay the price by killing Russians," unquote. Michael Morrell, yes. Rose, and killing Iranians? Morrell, yes, covertly. Play the video. He says these words.
I'd give them the things that they need to both go after the Assad government, but also to have the Iranians and the Russians pay a little price, right? When we were in Iraq, the Iranians were giving weapons to the Shia militia who were killing American soldiers, right? They were making the Iranians were making us pay a price. We need to.
We were invading. Yeah, that's kind of what you do.
The Iranians pay a price in Syria. We need to make the Russians pay a price. The other thing I would do.
We make them pay the price by killing Russians.
Yes.
And killing Iranians.
Yes. Covertly.
Where is that country?
You don't tell the world.
Covertly.
You don't stand up at the Pentagon and say we did this, right? But you make sure they know it in Moscow and Tehran. Here's the other thing.
That's a little different than the Middle East and Russia.
I want to go after those things that Assad sees as
this person's
his
psycho
personal power base, right? I want to scare Assad, so I want to go after his presidential guard. I want to bomb his offices in the middle of the night.
Well, that happened about 2 years ago, as you remember, when his brother-in-law was.
I want to destroy his presidential aircraft on the ground. I want to destroy his presidential helicopters. I want to make him think of coming after
president
him,
of another
right?
country.
I'm not advocating assassinating him. I'm not advocating.
Sounds like what we do
I'm
now.
advocating going
Is
after.
this guy already in the
he
government
thinks
or
is his
what?
power base,
I'll
right?
say
And what he
something. I'll
needs
say
to
something here
survive.
in a moment.
I want him to
please.
think about. This is not going to end well for me, right? I want to put pressure on him. I want to put pressure on the Iranians. I want to put pressure on the Russians.
By killing them. What an absolute
come to that
fucking
diplomatic
goon.
settlement.
Okay, first, it's very scary to think that this guy might be the CIA director pick, on especially because of the recent momentum we've had with escalating with Iran,
And Russia.
and Russia, assassinating Iran's top general, who is the leader in fighting ISIS, Qasem Soleimani. It's very scary to think of, what a Biden administration could do in Iran. Like we, of course, hope with like every last bit that we were more of a Dove administration, and we definitely cooled down tensions. But it's especially with this, it's very likely things can escalate and become an intervention style war.
Right.
Seeing the almost like the blood curdling, like he looks like he's gonna start foaming at the mouth almost when he was talking about how much he hates Iran and the Russians. So it's very, it's kind of, it's not kind of, it's it's scary to think about what could happen under a Biden administration when he's feeling when he's filling his cabinet with not only neoliberals as bad as they are, but straight up just like war criminals, deranged fucking psychopathic Republicans, all this. Yeah,
And just like what Jacan was saying,
a torture apologist. Yeah, good, very good point.
Well, like you said, Iran's scary, and Biden still hasn't done shit about saying if they're gonna re-enter the nuclear deal too.
Exactly. Like Iran reached out to Biden, and we haven't heard any updates, or at least I haven't. I could have missed something.
I haven't heard anything. But Russia's pretty scary, like, because everything Biden has said about Russia has been pretty fucking hawkish.
Of course, because he's a dire Republican. He's the most Republican, like one of the most Republican Democrats. All he cares, he wants to reach around the aisle just to do all the bullshit.
Yeah, it's the entire Democratic Party's narrative is that Russia interfered in our election, so
we must destroy them.
So now we can justify the sanctions we have on them. We can justify more election interference because it's only a matter of time before they start claiming that from the 2020.
And looking at some of the last debates, like the whole thing was just, I hate Russia more. It's like, why should anybody hate Russia? Like Russia has its flaws, just like the U.S. has its flaws. But this is another, not only a global superpower economically, but a nuclear superpower. And so we should be doing everything in our power to not only disarm together, but become allies, because in international solidarity and, putting our resources together, we can really make true change in the entire country and maybe give back to the third world that we sadly destroyed, looking at places like Africa, Latin America, and etc. We should be doing everything we can to fix these countries that social democracies like Norway and Sweden and the other Nordic countries routinely exploit to make their countries nicer, that nice, happy, cute capitalism that people like Bernie Sanders want. And it is definitely a step in the right direction, but we need to move beyond the frame of capitalism itself. And that's something that is 100% attainable, and we need to actually look at and stop demonizing.
Yeah, and even just that language from Biden of seeing, trying to say who hates Russia and Russians more, it's like you kind of said, it's antithetical to international solidarity. They can't even, it's not even integrated in their language, because it's just hating working class people and just, none of us hate an average everyday Russian person. They're just trying to get by like the rest of us.
And they don't hate us.
Even Obama got his rhetoric back on point when he was running against Mitt Romney. He was saying the 1980s want your foreign policy back. Even though he immediately did Syria in his following term, but he at least knew what to say.
Yeah, well, that's always been Obama's. He's known what to say.
At least maybe its Biden presidency will be a neoliberal mask-off.
Yeah. Especially as his mental state deteriorates.
Yeah, maybe he'll be straight up like, yes, I'm ruining everything.
Can we pull up the political article? I just want to use this as background for Michael Morrell.
Yeah, we're kind of falling a little behind, so we gotta.
Yeah, we'll power through a couple of these right here. So it says here from Politico, Harvard withdraws this while back invitation to Chelsea Manning after backlash. CIA Director Mike Pompeo withdraws from speaking slot, and former acting CIA Director Michael Morrell quits Harvard post over hiring. The Harvard University Institute of Politics invitation for Chelsea Manning to serve as a visiting fellow for the 2017-2018 academic year, quote, was a mistake and is being withdrawn, the dean of the John F. Kennedy School of Government said Friday. I now think that designating Chelsea Manning as a visiting fellow was a mistake for which I accept responsibility, Douglas Elmendorf said in a statement Friday. Fucking stupid-ass name. Therefore, we are withdrawing the invitation to her to serve as a visiting fellow and the perceived honor that it implies to some people, while maintaining the invitation for her to spend a day at the Kennedy School and speak in the forum. Skipping further down, where it says, in a letter Thursday to Elmendorf, Michael Morrell, wrote that he could, quote, cannot be part of an organization that honors a convicted felon and leaker of classified information, Miss Chelsea Manning, by inviting her to be a visiting fellow at the Kennedy School's Institute of Politics, unquote. So yeah, this guy basically, and shame on fucking Harvard for the statement they came out after and, saying that it was a mistake to invite her and shit. But look at the quote that Morrell used there. Cannot be part of an organization that honors a convicted felon and leaker. Like, that's when the reality is he should be a convicted felon. He's fucking legit tortured people, has advanced U.S. imperialism, and Chelsea Manning is a saint that has risked her life multiple times, has been jailed multiple times.
Has been tortured, literally.
Financially ruined.
Financially ruined, yeah.
And as we talked about a couple of shows ago, it's truly beautiful to see how far Chelsea Manning has come post everything that's happened to her. Yeah, she regularly streams on Twitch. It is currently building a really awesome gaming PC. So it's really cool to see, even though how disgusting the United States government is, how we can bounce back from it. And I think Chelsea Manning is one of those beautiful examples.
I hope she stays safe, because what they're doing to Julian Assange is not look good.
Yeah.
Solidarity with all of our whistleblowers that are sadly probably not going to see any type of expungement and forgiveness anytime soon, especially under a Biden presidency.
Let's move to the video. So status coup video.
Status
It's kind of a little disjointed, so we'll just kind of bring them up.
And I wanted to have you on today because there's this crazy story out of Amazon and Europe in specific. And honestly, I kind of think a lot of this stuff is going on in America anyway, as you know. But for those of you who haven't read it, let me just show people what I'm talking about here. It's from Vice, and it is titled Secret Amazon Reports Expose the Company's Surveillance of Labor and Environmental Groups. This is specifically in Europe. I'll read you just a little bit. A trove of more than 24 internal Amazon reports reveal in stark detail the company's obsessive monitoring of organized labor and social and environmental movements in Europe, particularly during Amazon's peak seasons between Black Friday and Christmas coming up. The reports obtained by Motherboard were written in 2019 by Amazon intelligence analysts who work for Global Security Operations, the company's security division. Documents show Amazon analysts closely monitor the labor and union organizing activity of their workers throughout Europe, as well as environmental and social justice groups on Facebook and Instagram. They also reveal an Amazon spokesperson confirmed that Amazon has hired Pinkerton operatives, the notorious spy agency known for its anti-union busting activities, to gather intelligence on warehouse workers.
Which started as slave catchers, by the way.
I should say this is in Europe, but pretty sure it's transferable to America.
Yeah, I had something to say really quick, which is this whole just that little part we watched is kind of scary, especially as an employee of a subsidiary of Amazon who is on a leftist talk show / podcast, who talks regularly about organizing labor and unionization, because we kind of only found out about this because of the regulations set in place with corporate corporate transparency, and we don't have those same regulations here in America, so we can only imagine what they're doing here in the States, because what they're talking about right now is going on in Europe. So it's very scary. You gotta imagine what they're monitoring here with us.
I mean, should we say hi to them now? Hello, Amazon. How are you doing?
Yes. Hello. Please don't.
Well, once we get our affiliate, they'll definitely be watching us.
Yeah, please don't fire me.
Well, just looking back from our 6th episode, we had 2 articles.
Yeah, we had
that were doing this in the U.S. as well.
Mm-hmm.
They hired an intelligence analyst to track labor organizing threats. Yeah, I would recommend checking this interview out too, because obviously they covered the Vice thing where it's the infamous Pinkertons, who, as Ian said, were fucking slave busters back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Seen them in the Red Dead games, or the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
But this video is good too because it has Chris Smalls we might have covered him before too, who was unjustly fired by Amazon and has done a lot to organize Amazon workers post his firing. So it's a good interview. Carlos, you want to take the stage?
All right. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on this. I just kind of more wanted to give him a shout out because we don't really hear about a lot of climate solutions, let alone talk about climate change. And especially what plays a big part in climate change is our garbage, especially the garbage that ends up in the ocean, like the Great Pacific Garbage Pile. And not only that, apparently, so one update on that before I kind of get into this. Last I had heard, the Pacific Garbage Pile was like the size of Texas.
I was just about to say that literally.
Now it's twice the size of Texas.
Which is like I literally can't fathom that.
Big.
Yeah, big.
And on top of that, I guess there are also 4 other garbage piles now building up in the ocean, large enough to be considered islands all on their own.
Nice.
So 5 of them now.
Right.
And so groups like this are starting to pop up because they see a chance, like, not only that this is going to literally kill the ocean if we just leave it alone and continue to build it up.
100%.
It's just all
Right,
the
all the microplastics and stuff that break down into the fish.
It's already horrible.
And of course, fucks us over in the process.
Yeah,
yeah, the food
it's
we're
like we
eating.
can't afford to let this get any worse.
Yeah, no.
Which is insane how groups like this aren't even getting enough funding that they need to carry out these missions. But so I'm gonna read here. This is called theoceancleanup.com. So we developed advanced technologies to rid the oceans of plastic. Every year, millions of tons of plastic enter the oceans, of which the majority spills out from rivers. A portion of this plastic travels to ocean garbage patches, getting caught in a vortex of circulating currents. If no action is taken, the plastic will increasingly impact our ecosystems, health, and economies. So even the Wall Street goons should have reason to be concerned. Which it's even with, especially with Biden in office now, like, it's got to only be a matter of time before they get their hands all over this stuff. Just, I mean, what else do they really have to do with their money other than just speculation?
Right. Yeah, they'll have to invest in some kind of technocratic solution.
Just something for sustainable even for them. But
yes.
For now, if they really don't care and they'll let the planet die, I mean, we'll have to step in. You know, just going to show that, you know, concentrating massive amounts of wealth doesn't actually make society better. So, we aim to clean up 90% of ocean plastic pollution. The Ocean Cleanup is a non-profit organization developing advanced technologies to rid the oceans of plastic. To achieve this objective, we have to work on a combination of closing the source, so stopping more plastic from being made and ending up in the ocean, and cleaning up what has already accumulated in the ocean and doesn't go away by itself. So, like the Great Garbage Patch.
Right.
And you can see some of the stuff they use here. So their 2 primary methods of dealing with this are the ocean and the rivers, since, as they mentioned, a lot of rivers run through many parts of the world, and especially considering because they're a lot of times strategic locations for resources and such, a good source of water. A lot of people live on, near, or by rivers. So you can imagine a lot of garbage ends up in said rivers, and as the flow goes right out into the ocean, gets caught up and forms a lot of these great garbage islands. So it's good to see that they've actually, you know, this is a real serious effort.
Yeah, they've thought about it for sure.
So
And I remember even what you were talking about earlier is that they were dumping, or in another podcast when you covered ocean cleanup, you were showing the how much trash is being thrown into the ocean in like a particular spot too as well.
Are those the DDT dumping?
Oh
The
yeah,
old, like pesticide.
That was near us, yeah, by Catalina Island.
It was by the islands.
Yeah.
So things like that, I'm sure that they would also be cleaning up or taking that into consideration when cleaning up the ocean as well, right?
Well, a lot of, like they say, their main effort is against plastic, and like they said, they're mainly concerned about the giant balls of plastic, more or less, forming up. But yeah, I imagine we definitely need to do a lot of analysis of all the environmental destruction that's just gone under the radar.
And there's so much shit in the ocean at this point. It's just like can't even like identify. It's just all fucking.
Or just how much shit is straight up buried that we'll never know about.
For sure. Never know.
Yeah.
Until the whole fucking land just caves in.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, pretty much that's all I really got from here. You can donate to them. We'll definitely have all their stuff linked when the video goes live on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're even now selling cleanup sunglasses. So made from the materials that they get from the ocean, certified, so you know it's the real deal. And all of the money goes directly to their effort of cleaning up the oceans. So it's basically just another way you can donate to them and get a little something out of it.
Yes.
Even just reading their one little chyron there under the cleaning the ocean section, where it's like, with a full fleet of cleanup systems in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, we aim to clean up 50% of its plastic every 5 years. It reminds me a lot of the olivine thing you brought up too. It's like these things aren't just like practical. Like, damn, they're fucking effective too. It's just
but you just have to scale them.
Yeah, you just have to scale them, exactly, and it could be done. It's not insane to think about.
Exactly, and just like how we talked about like the green beaches a few episodes ago, like it's something that's like so doable that we just refuse to do because of the entire profit motive that is capitalism, and that is our like this is yeah.
It doesn't even make sense.
Speaking of that, we need to go get some of that. Go dump it on the beaches. If we can find it, it's cheap.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Make a day out. Well, obviously when we can organize.
Yeah. A big shout out to Michael for that band. Thank you.
Want to become famous? Buy followers.
You want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on click.ru, bigfollows.com.
Yeah, whenever you see that shit pop up in the chat, do not click those.
No, don't click anything.
You guys are all smart enough, but
yeah. I don't think any boomers watch us.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe your parents.
But...
that's fucked up.
Well, your parents aren't quite boomers.
Nah. Boomer's not an age; it's a mindset.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, same. Do we want to hit
my parents are actual boomers.
Yeah,
but they're on the late
Jose.
end. Yeah.
Jose has like
Jose.
generation, the silent generation as parents or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so we kind of have a long show for you guys, sort of. We're going to take one last break and then finish everything off when we come back. Thank you guys so much for staying with us. We'll be back after another song. Please go stretch out, go to the bathroom, get some water, and stick around. We'll be back here in a couple minutes. Thank you guys.
Fachim.
Brutally relentless psychopath pattern. No
Yo.
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome.
We hope
Sure.
you enjoyed that song.
Yeah.
Shout out Oxnard. Bunch of talented people, man.
Seriously.
All kinds of music. All kinds of tastes.
Afterworld says that
Big
he enjoys
city.
our brace. You want to go check out his 3D print?
I
always
saw
wanted
that.
it. I think it's pretty dope. I think 3D
3D,
printers are
no,
all
3D printing's badass, bro.
3D printing it is an interesting field, though. Like all things under capitalism.
Making a lot of developments.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But it's not. We shouldn't attribute it to capitalism. It's the developments that individuals make through their hard work and effort that get to taken advantage of by the system.
By the system of cap. Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
We'll give everybody a second to settle in here.
Printing machine guns.
Big government took away my gun, took away my assault rifle, my AK-47, so I 3D printed.
My printer, though.
Take away my 3D printer, brother. I got a fully automatic MP5 extended magazine.
How many viewers are you rocking? Like 9, 10? Yeah, 9.
Yeah, we got a 9 baby.
Nice. Thank you all for watching.
Shout out all y'all. If you guys like what you see and haven't followed, hit the follow button. We appreciate it. It helps us. And we continue to get this community bigger and bigger every day, or every show, hopefully.
And we're making some moves behind the scenes. We'll probably try to mention that a little bit later towards the episode, but yeah, we gotta dig right into this stuff.
Also today, forgot to mark it off. We get our affiliate.
Yes, after
we gotta make sure, but
estimated.
We'll announce it on our social media when we do. So stay tuned.
After all the statistics update after tonight's show, we should be Twitch affiliates. So special shout out to the community that brought us here. Thank you to everybody who followed, everybody who watches, everybody who types in chat. New people, old people, people who are here that kind of don't know if they want to follow yet, people who may even disagree with this. Please stick around, follow us, talk to us. We appreciate it, and we hope to expand your knowledge on leftist thought, and maybe even bring you to our side if you disagree with us. And if you already agree with us, come to the echo chamber, man. Come hang out. It's fun. We drink beer and shit.
I truly appreciate all the.
No, but yeah. On a serious note, we seriously appreciate all you guys. We're 10 viewer Andes most nights. With interviews, we get around 20 viewers, which is fucking sweet. But yeah, well, we seriously fuck with all 10 of you guys that come here every night. Even when we have late ass shows, you guys still rock with us. It's super cool, and we only hope to grow this community and branch out and continue to normalize our leftist ideas, as well as de-radicalize those who are, kind of going down what we believe is the wrong path. And
especially to stand against censorship.
Exactly.
Because we can't have a good and honest debate unless we're free to discuss openly. And as soon as we start censoring people, it just ends up going down the wrong way.
Yep.
On that note,
sure, yeah.
Let's kick it off, yeah?
Yeah.
Our third and final piece.
Yeah, let's get into this last segment here.
Yeah. This is Glenn Greenwald being interviewed by Jimmy Dore, and we'll let like the first 10 minutes or so play out, maybe less than that. I just felt like it was really prescient as far as censorship and.
Yeah, this was a really good interview. I recommend everyone check it out.
Yeah, watch the whole thing.
Glenn Greenwald, just a big name in journalism. One of the good ones. Well, we'll hear it from him.
Free to do whatever he wants now, too. So he's unleashed.
Oh, really?
Oh no, you know what? You know what? It's just the it's just kind of a weak signal.
It's your fault.
I bet it's probably my fault.
No.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Jimmy Dore Show.
The ads.
Something about this goddamn collar. I swear to God. As I was picking out my shirt today, and I get why Mark Zuckerberg wears the same thing every day, because I was like, well, I'm gonna have Glenn
I'm gonna
Greenwald
kind
on the
of skip
show
past
today,
this.
so maybe a lot of people are gonna
I
watch
love
this. I wanna
Jimmy's
look
banter,
extra
but
pretty.
we're strapped.
Oh Always happy to talk F. Stone Izzy Award and the George Polk Award. But more importantly, he founded the Hope Shelter for Rescued Dogs. He recently resigned over censorship from the online news publication The Intercept, an organization he helped found. Please welcome Glenn Greenwald and his dogs. Hi, Glenn. How are you?
Hey, Jimmy. Great to be with you. Your pineapples look fantastic.
Oh, boy, he's getting fresh already. Okay, so...
I'm so ready.
Now, Glenn, ever since the hysteria over Russiagate, there's been a culture developing that calls for internet censorship. We even see figures on the corporate left calling for censorship, pleading for the unaccountable authority of faceless Silicon Valley employees to protect us from our own thoughts and the thoughts of others. Can you tell me, how did we get here?
What's so interesting, Jimmy, is that Facebook and Google and Twitter never wanted the power, the responsibility to regulate or discourse or censor, not because they're good, benevolent people who believe in freedom, but because it wasn't in their interest to take on this responsibility. The model they wanted to implement was the one that, say, AT&T has, which is we're just a content-neutral platform. We have no responsibility for the information or the ideas that go over our wire. Nobody, for example, expects that if Alex Jones calls Milo Yiannopoulos and they have a conference call, that AT&T is going to intervene and cut off their service, because AT&T is a content-neutral platform. That's what Facebook and Google and Twitter wanted to be, because that way they would make more money and they wouldn't have this responsibility. The reason they started having to censor is because journalists began demanding that they do so. They have employees at the New York Times and CNN and NBC whose only job is to troll the internet, looking for people who violate the rules. They're like little middle school tattletale hall monitors. And they say, why is Facebook giving voice to this person? Why is Twitter not yet banning this person? And they've created this public demand that has foisted upon these companies not just the ability, but the duty to censor. And just last week, they had a bunch of tech executives like Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Alphabet, the parent company of Google, before a Senate committee. And Ed Markey, the Democrat from Massachusetts, who the left, the actual left, like the little Sunrise Movement kids and all those, like got behind to defeat Joe Kennedy III, said to Mark Zuckerberg, our problem with you is not that you're not censoring enough. It's not that you're censoring too much. It's that you're not censoring enough. Here's a post we think you should take off the internet. And here's another one we think you should ban. This is what they're going to do in power. They're going to pressure these social media companies even more. And if people on the left think that this is only going to be aimed at the right, you're fucking stupid. The whole idea of censorship is to eliminate any dissenting voices that challenge institutions of power. And they hate the left every bit as much as they hate the right. They've convinced people to support this on the left by saying, oh, look, we're going to only do it against Alex Jones. And it's already starting against the left, and it's only going to get worse.
It's amazing that the people on the left still to this day, I just had a confrontation on Twitter with a lefty journalist who still stands by calling for censorship, for, with no adversarial process, just letting Mark Zuckerberg censor someone without anything. And even to this day, as they're being censored, they'll still stand by their call for censoring someone else. Like, the problem is it's like, do they really not understand, Glenn, that you don't get to pick and choose that who gets censored? Once you start censoring, it's out of your hands, and that it's going to come back on you, especially if you're on the left and you challenge the status quo. That's who they're going to use censorship against. How is it that the people on the left don't understand this?
That's always the amazing thing to me about censorship advocates, is this idea that they're going to have this imaginary world where institutions of authority are going to censor benevolently in order to defend the marginalized. It's such a radical misunderstanding of how power operates. Say to a leftist, what do you think of the U.S. government? And they'll say, oh, the U.S. government is authoritarian and fascist. And then you say, like, what do you think of the federal judiciary? And they'll say, oh, it's filled with right-wing law and order judges, because that's who Reagan and Bush and Trump appointed, which is true. And then you say, what do you think of tech executives, billionaires in Silicon Valley, and they'll say they're hideous, they're horrible, they're right-wing oligarchs, which is true. And then you say, like, are you in favor of giving those institutions, the ones that you just condemned and denounced as fascist and authoritarian oligarchs, the power to control the internet and regulate? Oh, yes, absolutely. We need to protect the marginalized. Why would you think that that is how they're going to do it? The censorship is always aimed at the marginalized, not the powerful. That's the nature of it. It's a minoritarian right, free speech, because it's always people with minority views who are aimed at censorship. We reported, Jimmy, at the end of 2017, I did actually, not we, that Facebook, when they get requests from the Israeli government to censor or remove pages of Palestinian journalists, Palestinian activists, or just ordinary citizens in Palestine, in the West Bank and Gaza, on the grounds that they're inciting violence or advocating terrorism. In something like 98.5% of the cases, Facebook complies with the Israeli government's request. Why? Because the Israeli government is powerful and the Palestinians aren't. They never take down Israeli pages, almost never, when Palestinians ask, because Palestinians have no power. These censorship powers are going to be exercised on behalf of the powerful, which right now means the neoliberal order of the Democratic Party, the CIA and NSA, Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and the New York Times, kind of Atlantic, NBC, CNN axis. That's who's in power. That's the ruling coalition. And anybody who is against them, you or me, on the left or the right, it makes no difference, will be subject to these kinds of constraints, these kind of speech constraints.
And so what do you say to someone, Glenn, because this is what they say to me. They go, well, of course, Twitter and Facebook shouldn't have to wait for a court order to get rid of Alex Jones because the people he was harassing, right, the people at Sandy Hook, and people literally, I've had a journalist say to me that, of course, you shouldn't have to wait for a court before you step in and do something. And I'm like, well, what do you say to that?
Well, I'm sure you guys remember the debates over torture that took place in the second half of the Bush-Cheney years and then into the Obama years, the 2008 election. It was one in which I participated very vigorously. One of the reasons why I started writing about politics was in opposition to the worldwide torture regime the Bush administration had implemented in the name of fighting and stopping terrorism. And so in order to defend torture, what they would do is they would concoct a hypothetical, like an example, like the best example for their case. They would say, imagine we have a terrorist in our custody who has set off a nuclear bomb that if it detonates is going to kill 2.5 million people in the middle of like New York or Los Angeles or wherever. And the only way you can find out where that bomb is to defuse it is if you torture that person. Do you torture that person or not? That's a hard case, right? Like that's not an easy, you don't just say, no, let the 2 million people die. Torture is always wrong. But the reason why it's such a scumbag way of debating is because you're purposely creating the most extreme hypothetical case and then demanding that a generalized rule be extracted from it. That's never how torture is used. That's like a once in a every 10,000 year scenario at best that you don't use to base rules on. It's the same thing. This is what they'll do. When the government wants to censor, they'll pick out Fred Phelps, who goes to, the funerals of veterans killed in wars or gay people and marches like God hates all, like the most hateful, odious person, or Alex Jones, who says Sandy Hook is a hoax or whatever. And they lure you in, just like those people who were torture advocates tried to do, into saying, yeah, I'm so angry about the particular person to whom you're going to apply this power that I endorse this precedent. I hope you're going to just use it against Alex Jones and not start expanding it outward. But I'm so emotionally charged by the person that you've gotten me to hate that I'm willing to stand behind and cheer for authority. The CIA, the DOJ,
Can we pause it
Twitter,
there, Carlos?
Google, Facebook.
And kind of the opus of that for sure is Trump. Like Trump creates that mindset in people all the time. It's like they hate him so bad that they're willing to both promote censorship and like powers over to these institutions that we claim we don't trust, like the CIA or any enumeration.
Who
of them.
openly admit that they will lie to us. For what they think is our own good.
Right. Yeah, I thought watch the rest of that interview. It's really good. I thought in general, like yeah, it just shows like. Well, someone else go. I don't want to.
I don't really have much to say. Like, part of me, somewhat, I want to say disagrees. I guess. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm thinking a little bit too deep, but I guess to an extent I am somewhat pro censorship. I guess because I feel like obviously we can't trust these institutions like this, like he just said, the CIA, the DOJ, et cetera, and we can't trust our contemporary neoliberal and conservative governments to be the delivering hand of justice. But I feel like when talking about censorship, it really comes down to not just they're going to censor people on the right, so they'll censor people on the left to balance it out, which I think is the problem. Like this position of neutrality and
I don't think it's ever balanced.
And exactly, I feel like no, 100%, and it's propelled by this neoliberalism, which it's a version of conservatism, but there's this right government that suppresses the left more than the right, 100%. But I feel like me being in the position that I am against this government entirely, and I feel like it should be replaced by a government that represents the people. When we look at censorship, it shouldn't be just censor people on the right, so censor people on the left. It's let's look at the ideas. Not to be like a Dave fucking Rubin, but a Nazi and a communist obviously are not the same, obviously, so they should not both be censored. No matter what your perspective is, if you're a Nazi, 100% you should be censored. You should not be able to spew your I understand.
I think the exposing point is when those people are allowed to speak their mind, generally people do disagree with them.
Yeah, I also agree, but also
and we made
those are the battles that have to be had.
I
at the end of the day,
it's
it's gonna come up one way or the other.
I 100% understand where you're coming from, but my whole thing is, when you have this idea, this Nazism, this fascist idea, it is nothing but unproductive discourse. It does nothing but muddy the waters and stray away from real populist left change. And I feel like.
Don't you think censorship propels that though? Because if you censor, then you're saying, okay, these are thus Nazi ideas.
Oh, and I agree to an extent, but with censorship needs to come proper education. When censoring a Nazi, you have to explain why you censored this Nazi. You have to say, I censored this Nazi because he did Holocaust revisionism. He said things. He said things like Hitler.
So how would you censor him?
You ban him. You ban him off of major platforms, and you force him into this basically this. I guess basically off this basically off the grid sort of place. I guess
that's the problem though, because when people go to stuff like that, that's when they go nuts.
And
because if the channels are allowed to operate still, and it's like they just become less popular, then it's like it is what it is. Like you'll always have garbage people who think like horrible shit, but it's just kind of how the world works.
And that's the thing I think with smart or intelligent fascists, not these idiots that run around saying I'm a Nazi, this and that. It's the smart fascists. It's the people who know to, say, oh, I hate Nazis. Oh, I hate this and that, and then hit you with this fake populist rhetoric. That's what brings you in. I think one of the things you really have to look at is look at the ideas, look at the base of where they're coming from, and decide if you want to censor. And I see that both of you disagree with me, and I understand why. But personally, I think that's my philosophy on it. You have to look at the individual,
specific,
and also I get what you mean by who watches the Watchmen kind of thing. Like who's gonna watch who's censoring who, and I think that comes down to
at least how we have it set up now.
Exactly, and I 100% see what you mean by right now. We can't really have a fair censorship deal where we only get rid of Nazis and the communists are okay. I understand that right now we live in a time where we'll ban Nazis. But resentment with who? The Nazis. The Nazis will resent the government. Who fucking cares about them? And that's such a small, but yet vocal online majority.
Like, we brought this up before. Like when Trump gets censored, that spurs more people
Well,
to.
it depends what do you mean by censoring?
Yeah,
I mean, like the
that's-
pop-up shit that like tries to like fact check you, but like if they
No,
still leave your stuff up, it's not censoring.
Like remove, yeah,
Yeah, like
'cause-
removing stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't think fully just completely deleting it off the internet, but having systems in place to, I guess, let you know that this is disinformation and this is hateful, unproductive discourse and rhetoric that is being spewed by this person. And you yourself, after being faced with this information
like-
that this is false discourse, you can now go and look at it.
I mean, if they want to, if you want to argue for like the optional like fact check shit, I mean, like sure. Like,
and
I
yeah,
mean,
and that comes
that-
back to my other point, like
just,
who
like,
watches the
whatever.
Watchmen, who is the fact checker?
Well, that's why I
and et
mean
cetera.
optional. It's like you can acknowledge it or not. It's like, but I don't want to like go removing people's shit because that's when you you create resentment. Because then you create the argument of, oh, I have a real point. They don't want me to.
And this is
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Carlos. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess this is just I guess
Like
I'm kind
you
of
just you kind of have to allow them to be to a certain extent.
No, it's good. It's good to dig around here because it's
no, yeah, and it's interesting discourse, and
Even though we're kind of about to hit 2 hours.
It's okay. Let's look at chat really quick. Afterworld says it's a rough nut to crack too. Who is the government to say what the private companies do with their products? But I don't want hate speech. But I want free speech. But I want.
They didn't want to do that at first. The companies, it wasn't in their best interest to censor at first.
No, I 100% agree. These companies don't want to censor. It's not in their best interest.
Now they do though, because now they're beholden. It is their best interest, and they're beholden to the state.
And it took someone like Trump, who just goes out there and spews incorrect stuff constantly to say like, oh, now we can actually carry this out because this is the perfect example of someone who needs.
Right.
And that leads me back to my, I guess, original point is, the reason we're in the situation we're in is because of shitty neoliberalism that brought us Trump, that brought us farther and farther away from an internet, like not even international, but like a leftist solidarity with the United States, who can be, I guess, the leadership and the clear voice of what is factually wrong and what is factually right. A Nazi is factually wrong and is spewing hateful and unproductive discourse, when a communist at the same time simply just wants to change our mode of production and help our lowest class of citizens. And it is true that it is wrong that what our current government is doing when censoring Nazis and also censoring leftists at the same time, to be like, oh, I don't have a political bias. That is 100.
Yeah, it don't matter who it's from.
Exactly, it is 100% wrong. But I guess
even if it's from their own party.
I guess my perspective is a little bit more theoretical rather than looking at what is actually materialized in the United States, and I will concede to that.
We all at least agree.
I don't know. Yeah, I kind of disagree on both. But I mean, it's fair.
No, yeah,
it is what it
no,
is.
100%.
All agree in the moment now that there is no reason for these companies or the powers that be right now to have the ability to censor, because they've shown that
they can't handle the scale, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
They can't handle the scale effectively, and we know what they're going to use.
They really shouldn't try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from and agree to an extent, but I guess like I was saying, my philosophy on this subject or on this topic specifically is, I guess, almost utopian. Like like looking past what currently is the United States and the globe as a whole.
In that ideal society, we could just not talk out, but like you're saying on the education angle.
But just exactly. Like we give the people the information on why this is bad discourse, and let the people be like, oh, okay, I understand. I disagree with this. Let's not worry.
You don't need for censorship there. You just have your own ability to divide arguments and ideas.
Yeah, no, yeah, I 100% agree. I definitely get where you both are coming from, but I guess. Yeah, I guess I just
more speech, not less speech.
Yeah, where we are now, especially. Let's move to, since we don't have, well, like past 2 hours, let's move to the next thing.
Yeah.
And this is an update, because I believe the first time they did this was in 2018. Let me pull up the article here, sorry. This is from the White House, is a text of a notice on the continuation of the national emergency with respect to the situation in Nicaragua. On November 27, 2018, by Executive Order 13851, I declared a national emergency pursuant to the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to deal with the unusual and extraordinary threat to national security and foreign policy of the United States constituted by the situation in Nicaragua. Yeah, Nicaragua's gonna bomb Oklahoma, so watch out. The situation in Nicaragua, including the violent response by the government of Nicaragua to the protests that began on April 18, 2018, and the Ortega regime's systemic dismantling and undermining of democratic institutions and the rule of law. All this is bullshit, by the way. Its use of indiscriminate violence and oppressive tactics against civilians. We've never done that. As well as its corruption leading to the destabilization of Nicaragua's economy, continues to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. For this reason, the national emergency declared on November 27, 2018, must continue in effect beyond November 27, 2020. Therefore, in accordance with Section 202D of the National Emergencies Act, I'm continuing for 1 year the national emergency declared in Executive Order 13851 with respect to the situation in Nicaragua. That's from your Donald J. Trump. Well, what they mean by extending the national emergency for 1 more year in Nicaragua means they're going to extend both sanctions as well as
coup attempts.
Coup attempts, yeah, other actions on the table. That's what they mean by that.
They're like, hey guys, we need an extra year to take over this country.
Yep. Well, now Trump's conveniently extended it so that when Biden comes in, he'd be like, we're already doing it.
Exactly. And that's what's one of the big problems with Biden is when we look at his record, he is very much a hawk, and we don't have much dove rhetoric to go off of. So we can only imagine that if, yeah, like you said, Trump starts this now, that Biden will just be like, oh, well, it's already happening, so let's keep going.
Yeah. Let's pull up this next article from Gray Zone to contrast this statement. It says here from Gray Zone, document exposes new U.S. plot to overthrow Nicaragua's elected socialist government. A disturbing new document outlines plans for a U.S. regime change scheme against Nicaragua's elected leftist government, overseen by USAID, to bring about a, quote, market economy and a purge of the Sandinistas. It's by Ben Norton. The plot is administered by the United States Agency for International Development, the USAID, a regime change vehicle that uses the pretense of humanitarian aid, in quotes, to advance Washington's aggressive foreign policy interests. The document details the creation of a new task order called Responsive Assistance in Nicaragua, RAIN, and its plan for Nicaragua's transition to democracy, a euphemism for removing the leftist Sandinista Front for National Liberation, known commonly by the Spanish acronym FSLN, from power. In the pages, the U.S. government agency uses hardline neoconservative rhetoric, referring to Nicaragua's elected government as the, quote, Ortega regime, as we just read from the last Trump thing, and making it clear that Washington wants to install a neoliberal administration that will privatize the economy, impose neoliberal reforms, and purge all institutions of any trace of the leftist Sandinista movement. The USAID regime change scheme states openly that one of its top, quote, mission goals is for Nicaragua to, quote, transition to a rules-based market economy based on the, quote, protection of private property rights. The document concludes by calling in the future U.S.-installed regime in Nicaragua to, quote, rebuild institutions and, quote, reestablish the military and police, to dismantle parallel institutions that support the Sandinista Front, and to persecute FSLN members through, quote, transitional justice measures. In other words, a thorough purge of the Sandinista movement to prevent it from ever returning to power. In case it was not explicit enough that Washington's goal was regime change, the 14-page USAID document employed the word transition 102 times, including 9 times on the first page alone. USAID declared its intention to assist in what could be an orderly transition, that's their words, or also their words, sudden transition without elections, which is clear code for a coup. Geez, look at that. Sudden transition without elections. That's crazy, dude.
So what they are claiming they're going in to stop is exactly what they're prepared to do.
Yes, exactly. At the same time, it acknowledged that Nicaragua's right-wing opposition is divided and has little chance of winning the upcoming 2021 national election, which further, proves that language of sudden transition without elections is just cool. And it goes deeper into the USAID and their role both in Nicaragua and in other countries as as you said earlier, like a vehicle of imperialism, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting to contrast these statements because Trump's just going to reimpose sanctions, etc., on Nicaragua. Meanwhile, at the same time, they're also trying to just straight up coup the Sandinista government, and yeah, it's disgusting.
It's so crazy to me. Like, I guess how out in the open the United States coup efforts are in, excuse me, Latin American countries, and they're still just like doing the same thing they were doing like back in like the Reagan era, like just we're gonna coup this, we're gonna coup them, we're gonna arm the far right militias, do whatever we can to do erasure of the left parties here in Nicaragua and other places in Latin America, and they're just so it's crazy. It's just
and we're gonna blame those people for the violence. We're gonna say it's them.
Exactly. We're gonna interfere in this sovereign nation, do a coup, and then blame the people that are protecting the country from these far right people, as well as the superpower that is the United States, and then blame them for the violence that is caused. And it's disgusting, 100%.
Yes. And the last one here to finish out our little, we always have like a Latin American segment usually. We like to always come back to Bolivia. And yeah, violent coups. I mean, Bolivia, literally protesters were murdered even past the election.
And we even lost the mining union leader, sadly, because of a far right fascist instigators, and sadly, he
post-win,
yeah, exactly. Sadly, he was killed, and we've even seen now, since the election, dynamite attacks that thankfully resulted in no injuries. But the fascists are definitely not going to go down without a fight, and we need to send all of our energy and really send solidarity with the Bolivian socialists, as well as all of Latin America and globally. But really send some solidarity to Bolivia. They're doing a lot right now to not only fight back against their own country's fascists and protect the indigenous people, but fight back against the United States and their imperialist conquests.
Well, more importantly, the fascists who are willing to work with other fascists.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because that's where they see their funding opportunity.
Yeah, and in case we had any illusion that they weren't these people in Bolivia or in Venezuela or Nicaragua, these right-wing opposition, in case we thought they weren't working with the U.S., here it is from Telesur. Bolivian police confirm presence of coup authorities in the U.S. Yeah. We talked about this before. If you remember when they claimed Guaido was in a wing of the U.S. and then they literally had him come sit at the State of the Union.
Yeah, Guaido was here. Yeah, every member of Congress stood up and applauded him.
They gave him a standing ovation, baby.
Crazy.
To read a little more here, the former minister of government of the de facto coup regime in Bolivia, Arturo Murillo, he was the right-wing guy that was running, and his former vice minister, Javier Issa, pursued by the justice system are today in the United States, confirmed by the commander of the Bolivian police, Johnny Aguilera. He says, quote, "We know through various notifications that the former authorities are in the United States. We do not know their status or their activities they are carrying out," unquote, declared the colonel. The police chief also added Sergio Sante, who served as Murillo's chief of staff and was also involved in the irregular purchases of tear gas, to the list in United States territory. Aguilera pointed out that they do not know the immigration status of these members of the coup government led by Janine Inez, who have found refuge on U.S. soil. And yeah, we could just go from that, but yeah, they're crazy. They act like they're not some wing of a U.S. coup, and then as soon as they take their licks, they get their L's, they just flee to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. They come right back home, baby.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah.
What is the end screen in COD? Mission failure. Return home. Return to base.
Mission fail. We'll try again next time.
That's what they're doing.
And it's
Call of Duty is pretty accurate. We come in, we go into your foreign country, we go on a terrorist operation, from their perspective, and it's honest in that sense.
I think that's what you shouldn't really as an American, you shouldn't really carry the weight of what your government's doing, but it kind of sucks, waking up every day and realizing how shitty our government is to other countries, other sovereign nations who just want to effect change and bring about a government that really represents the people. And it's as much as you're not supposed to sit there and wallow in what your government does, it really kind of sucks. It sucks waking up and realizing that
I think all we can do is wallow in what our government does.
Yeah, but you're not, you know what I mean. Don't wake up and take blame, and don't get on your knees and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, Bolivia, for what our government's doing.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing it. That's for sure.
No, yeah, neither. Which sucks, and
which does suck. Yeah.
All we can do is recognize who's doing it and what garbage they are for doing.
And
so.
it's something that it's something that we say every show, but we have to be the change in our communities. We have to get out. We have to organize. We have to talk to our leftist friends and build coalitions. We have to make alliances, and we have to be the change in our locality. Really, we have to when we fix what we're doing in our communities, we can start to fix what's going on in I guess at the bigger scale, at the Fed level, and so it's something that we like to say at the end of every show, and we just finished our articles, and we're gonna send you off with a really funny video and a song. But you have to be the change in your community. I get that it's kind of nerve-wracking. You have anxiety. It's a scary time, but we see everything going on right now, and I think it's very important to, like I said, be the change. Even if it's not tomorrow, but the next day. Talk to your leftist buddies, start a little club, invite more leftists out, organize. Start some protests. They're not even protests.
Anyone you can.
Build a coalition within your locality and start to effect change. Really pay attention to what's going on locally, politically wise. Keep up with the news. Be the change. And before I continue with kind of our outro thing, does anybody else have anything to say? Because let's do some final thoughts. We have one more little video to play for you guys, which is pretty funny, and then we're gonna get out of your hair and play a song for you guys.
Like always, I'm sure I did, but they're long gone by now. We'll have to dig them up later.
Jake and Michael, do you guys have anything to say?
I think you said everything. From what our stream is all about, and I think you put it correctly, is about just organizing your locality and everything is pretty spot on. I mean,
yeah, and
I think you said everything. I think you summed it all up.
Yeah, definitely. And then anybody who's watching who lives in the Nod, lives in the Ox with us, reach out to people. Not only not only like us, obviously, but I think people like Oxford Study. If you're a student, Oxnard Revolutionary Study Network, Oxnard_RSN on Instagram, and at Oxford Study on Instagram as well. Go check them out. They're super badass people, and you should really go check them out. And if you don't have something similar to that, if you're not watching from Oxnard, get together, be that, be the revolutionary study group, or if you're a reformist, be the reformist study group.
Be the change in your city.
Exactly, man. And if nobody else has anything to say, cut me off. But we got to be the change. Workers of the world unite. And sorry, Jacan sent something, but yeah, let's get that video that I sent earlier.
This is a real tweet.
Yeah, this is a real tweet from Bolsonaro, by the way. Okay, and on that,
I think I'm good after that.
Yeah. On that
I'm
note,
done,
on that note, thank you guys. He uploaded that himself. I don't know why he did that, but he did that, and it's hilarious.
The right's gone insane.
Yeah, I don't know who did that, but it's insane. But yeah, that's the end of the show. I really want to thank you guys all for watching. We're rocking with 10 people here at almost 1 a.m. It's super awesome. And I did my whole little stupid little fucking monologue just a second ago, but workers of the world unite, and I really appreciate you guys coming out and rocking with us, even here as late as 1 a.m. here in California. If you enjoyed and you don't follow us currently, please follow. If you're watching and you don't have an account with Twitch, please create one and drop a follow. It really helps us. Our Twitter, Instagram, all that is just down below. You scroll down a little bit and you can see all of our social media. Please follow us and keep up to date with what we're doing. Michael actually just typed in socials in our chat, so you can click on those links and find where we are. We can find our YouTube, which is an archive of all of our past episodes. Please go fuck with us. Check us out. And if anybody's here in the community in Oxnard watching, we want to be a microphone for you. We want to help, get our voice out there and get your voice out there as well. So, let's work. And
we're gonna be on SoundCloud now too. So.
Yes, we are. We're gonna be on SoundCloud now. We're gonna have all the audio files uploaded on SoundCloud. So
if you want to do audio only, there you go.
If you want to,
we still gotta work it out, but we'll be making an announcement soon with that and the Twitch affiliate if we get it.
Look, just keep up to date with our Twitter.
Process, and we'll let everyone know.
Yeah. So like I said, thank you a million times. Keep fucking with us. We're building this community slowly but surely.
It's all thanks to you guys.
Yeah, seriously. And that's the end of the episode. Let's get the mics cut and let's get the cameras cut as well. Let's get the music playing. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on Sunday for our next show.
Activate our cloak. Commander, our fuel runs low. Quickly. The Earth vessel? Impossible. Moves as we move.